Rewritten Story, Part 1. The message came in at 4:23 p.m. You cool with Rick sitting next to me tonight? He makes me laugh. No punctuation. No explanation. Just that. She had meant to send it to someone else. What she didn't realize was that I, her husband, was still saved as Richard in her phone. Rick, on the other hand, was her sister's husband. The same man who'd be walking through our front door in less than an hour, dressed in his Navy uniform, flashing that smug, easy grin that always seemed a bit too rehearsed. I stared at that text for 11 straight minutes. When I finally locked my phone, the dark screen reflected someone I barely recognized, someone frozen, as if one wrong movement would cause him to shatter into pieces. Laughter drifted in from the dining room. Another family gathering. My wife's version of tradition. Her polished father. Her brother with his habitual sneer. Her sister, drowning in perfume, who stared too long at men who weren't hers. And Rick, always fashionably late. I adjusted my collar in the mirror, tied my tie with care, fastened my shirt cuffs like a surgeon preparing for an operation. Then I walked out and joined the performance. The jabs came effortlessly, like lines from a well-rehearsed play. You're an embarrassment to this family, she said, holding a wine glass midair. Deadbeat, her brother tossed in with a smirk. No one laughed. They didn't need to. This was routine. They spoke as though I didn't exist. Like I was a rug, something they walked over, not someone they spoke to. She smiled when she said it. Her favorite cruelty was the kind everyone could watch. It gave her power. I didn't flinch, didn't speak, just stared at her, counting her breaths. She always inhaled through her teeth when she lied. Her left nostril twitched. The faintest pause before her smile appeared. She had already started lying before Rick even arrived. Maybe she thought I'd snap, throw a fit, prove her narrative, the unstable husband, the failure, the man too fragile to trust. She forgot who she married. The next day, I reviewed our phone records. 312 messages exchanged between her and Rick. Midnight conversations. Suspicious gaps in texting when I was home. I waited another week, then pulled footage from the nanny cam hidden in the den. She'd forgotten about it. Most people forget what they can't see. I watched them kiss. Soft. Practiced. She let him touch her like I hadn't in months. And she smiled. Really smiled. I saved the file as hollow_bone.mpp4. Stored it in a folder labeled Truth, encrypted, air-gapped, buried deep. I didn't confront her. Didn't accuse. I shared breakfast with her every morning like I hadn't watched her betrayal on repeat. She'd ask what I'd been working on lately. I told her I'd started writing again. She rolled her eyes. I smiled. That same week, I ordered a DNA test for our daughter. I wasn't expecting a surprise, but it came back negative. Something inside me snapped, quietly, like the melting of a circuit board. She had given me nothing, not even my own blood. 2 weeks later, I invited her whole family over. Same table, same faces, same staged smiles. I dressed sharply, sharper than usual. She noticed, didn't comment. Dinner was nearly ready. The roast glistened. Her father was lecturing me about discipline between sips of scotch. Her brother laughed at his own jokes. Her sister kept checking her phone. Then the door opened. Rick walked in, uniform crisp, just like always. His eyes swept the room, then stopped when they met mine. He froze. Snapped to attention. "Sir," he said. Voice tight. Formal. Respectful. Her father dropped his fork. It hit the plate with a metallic clatter. Silence. Her sister paled. My wife stared at me, open-mouthed. Speechless. Rick couldn't take it back. He couldn't unsay what he'd just said. He didn't know. None of them did. I had kept my real job hidden, my clearance, my rank, my classified position. Deadbeat. No. That had been her story, not my reality. I stood slowly, pushed my chair back with calculated ease, walked over to Rick, and extended my hand like this was just another meeting. Good to see you again, Commander. His handshake was limp. Embarrassed. He hadn't asked who I really was. He had assumed. Then I turned to my wife, reached into my jacket, and slid a white envelope across the table. She didn't move. You'll want to read that, I said calmly. No tone. No threat. Just truth. Inside was everything. The surveillance footage, the message logs, the DNA results, and my resignation from this marriage. Signed, notarized, and final. I didn't need to raise my voice. I watched her face drain of color, watched her glance from her father, to Rick, to the floor. She was calculating her next move. Too late. I had already erased myself from the story she tried to write in my name. I left before dessert. The silence I left behind wasn't sorrow. It was exposure. Outside, the night air was cool. I loosened my tie easily. My hands were steady. I slid a copy of the envelope into my glove box. Just in case she claimed confusion later. She wouldn't. Women like her don't beg. They negotiate. Reposition. But she had nothing left to offer. She mistook my silence for weakness. That was her final miscalculation. And me. I don't even hate her. I just genuinely don't remember what her voice sounds like anymore.